Was Joseph Stalin a savior who saved his nation, or a tyrant who destroyed millions in the name of power? This question has echoed through history, painting a picture of one of the most controversial figures of the 20th century. Today, we're journeying back in time to uncover the story of the Man of Steel, the iron-fisted ruler who transformed a struggling nation into a global superpower, but at a cost that still haunts the world today. Born Iosif Vissarionovich Jugashvili in a small Georgian town, the man who would become Stalin had a humble and harsh beginning. His childhood was marked by poverty and a strict father. Early on, he was drawn to revolutionary ideas, finding a home in the Bolshevik movement led by Vladimir Lenin. He wasn't a charismatic public speaker like Trotsky, nor a brilliant theorist like Lenin. Instead, he was a master of the backrooms, a tireless organizer, and a man who understood the mechanics of power better than anyone. He adopted the name Stalin, meaning man of steel, a fitting prophecy for the iron will he would later display. After the 1917 October Revolution, Stalin began his steady climb. As General Secretary of the Communist Party, he controlled appointments, placing his loyalists in key positions across the vast Soviet bureaucracy. When Lenin died in 1924, a power struggle erupted. Stalin, underestimated by his rivals, methodically outmaneuvered them. He sidelined Leon Trotsky, his most formidable opponent, eventually exiling and later having him assassinated. One by one, he eliminated the old Bolshevik guard, consolidating his grip until he was the undisputed master of the Soviet Union. His rise wasn't just political maneuvering. It was a ruthless and systematic takeover, with absolute power secured. Stalin launched a dramatic and brutal transformation of the Soviet Union. His goal was to drag the agrarian nation into the industrial age, and to do it at lightning speed. The 5-year plans were initiated, setting impossibly high quotas for coal, steel, and heavy machinery. Entire cities were built from scratch, and the nation's industrial output surged. On the surface, it looked like a miracle of modernization. The Soviet Union was flexing its industrial muscle, building the foundation for the military might that would soon be needed. But this industrial revolution came at a terrible human price. The policy of collectivization forced millions of peasants to give up their land and join state-controlled farms. Those who resisted, the so-called kulaks, were arrested, exiled to Siberia, or executed. This catastrophic policy destroyed centuries of agricultural tradition and led to a devastating famine, particularly in Ukraine, known as the Holodomor. Millions starved to death while the state exported grain to fund its industrial projects. It was a man-made disaster of epic proportions, a chilling testament to the regime's disregard for human life in pursuit of its goals. Stalin's paranoia grew with his power. In the mid-1930s, he unleashed the Great Purge, a wave of terror that swept through every level of Soviet society. Fearing rivals and conspiracies, he turned on his own party, his military, and ordinary citizens. Show trials were staged, where prominent Bolsheviks confessed to fantastical crimes after enduring unspeakable torture. The secret police, the NKVD, arrested millions based on flimsy accusations or simply to meet quotas. Neighbors denounced neighbors, and children were encouraged to inform on their parents. The Gulag system, a vast network of forced labor camps, swelled with political prisoners who were worked to death in horrific conditions. No one was safe. The fear was palpable, a constant, suffocating presence that ensured total obedience. The early stages were a disaster for the Red Army, weakened by Stalin's purges of its most experienced officers. But the Soviet Union rallied, harnessing the industrial might he had built, and fueled by a surge of patriotism, the Red Army fought back with incredible ferocity. The Battle of Stalingrad became a turning point not just for the Eastern Front, but for the entire war. The Soviet people endured immense suffering, with military and civilian deaths estimated at over 27 million, a staggering sacrifice. For this victory, Stalin was hailed as a savior, the leader who had defeated fascism and led his nation to glory. In the aftermath of the war, Stalin's Soviet Union emerged as one of two global superpowers. locking horns with the United States in a new kind of conflict, the Cold War. He expanded Soviet influence, creating a buffer of satellite states in Eastern Europe behind what Winston Churchill famously called the Iron Curtain. The world was divided into two opposing ideological blocs, and the threat of nuclear annihilation loomed large. Stalin's final years were consumed by this new struggle and his ever-present paranoia, which continued until his death in 1953. When news of his death broke, the reactions were complex. Many in the Soviet Union genuinely mourned the leader they saw as the father of their nation, the man who had industrialized their country and defeated the Nazis. But for the millions who had suffered under his rule, it was a moment of quiet, fearful relief. The legacy of Joseph Stalin is a profound paradox. He was a nation builder who created a superpower, but he was also a mass murderer responsible for the deaths of millions of his own people through famine, purges, and labor camps. But also the tyrant who created a society built on fear. So, was Stalin a savior or a tyrant? The truth is, he was both. And that is what makes his story so chilling and important. He demonstrated how the pursuit of a utopian vision, combined with absolute power and unchecked paranoia, can lead to a dystopian nightmare. His reign is a stark reminder of the cost of authoritarianism and the fragility of human life in the face of ideology. His shadow looms long over Russia and the world, forcing us to confront the darkest capabilities of human nature and the complex, often contradictory forces that shape history. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into one of history's most powerful and terrifying figures. What are your thoughts on Stalin's legacy? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more journeys into the past. We'll see you in the next one.